And welcome back. We are talking about the 65th annual Troy Turkey Trot today with event director George Regan and Mike Fraser from the city of Troy. We left off, we were talking about sort of volunteers, and you said that people can go to the website and basically sign up. You're still looking for people to do all kinds of things, I guess, connected to the race.
Definitely. Yep. We've got the kids run. We've got a bunch of mascots coming out. There's, what do we got, 20 mascots from the different teams in the area. Mm-hmm. And they all need escorts. It's hard to get around in those costumes. Yeah. And, you know, so little things like that, you'd be surprised at the jobs that we have. And, you know, it goes so quick because, I mean, literally, we start at 8 o'clock, and by 10:15, 10:30, we're done. Mm-hmm. Everybody's going home. Yeah.
Now, talk about
we have a lot to do in a short period of time.
Now, we were talking, you know, we've talked off camera. I mean, the numbers of people who have signed up for this race, you said just in the last couple of years, you've seen a pretty tremendous increase.
They have been increasing
in the runners. What do you think that? Why do you think that is?
I think that more and more runners realize the health benefits of running. You know, the cardiovascular benefits, get your blood moving, and that's good for your lungs and your heart. It's a weight-bearing exercise, so it's good for strong bones, which will fend off osteoporosis as we age. You know, there's a lot of reasons why people run. I mean, look at across the country. I mean, all of the races that are happening now. And I think that people are just more concerned about staying in shape. Mm-hmm.
And even though, and even though, I mean, these numbers are going up, even as, you know, you may not be the only game in town. There, I mean, there are other races on that day, but you're seeing your numbers growing.
Yes.
Despite that.
It has to be the history and the tradition. Yep. I think.
And I think the setting as well. You know, people are used, they know the Troy Turkey Trot is here every year, and we put on a good race. Also, there's something about running through the downtown streets and the Victorian architecture, things like that, that newer races in other locations simply don't offer. It's gained momentum over the years, and we're seeing that this year. We got registrations are ahead of last year's pace, ahead of 2 years ago, and we hope that continues over the final 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Now, and do you think that has anything to do with it too? I mean, the fact, I mean, or maybe, or you think you might see more given that Thanksgiving is a little early this year? I mean, are people even saying, "Oh, wait a second," you know, maybe realizing now Thanksgiving is just a few days away, I should, you know, sign up for the race?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think you're right, but we're going to know in 2 weeks. Personally, I think we're going to have a record this year because we're 1,000 ahead of where we were at any time for any turkey trot. Mm-hmm. So I think that says a lot. But you could be right. It could be people are saying, "Wow, turkey trot, it's early this year." Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, let's talk about I mean, let's talk about day of. Obviously, you know, you've got the races, but there's, as you said, there's mascots. There's a lot of other things that are going on around the race.
Yes, yes, it's a lot of fun. You know, we've got the community groups are involved, the neighborhood groups are involved. They're helping us orchestrate the event. We've got musicians, and we've got mascots, and we've got, you know, we try to make it festive. And of course, all of the runners, I mean, I would say a quarter of them come in costumes. Mm-hmm. So it's just a spectacle to see what you're going to see down there. You never know.
Yeah. Now, do you think, I mean, we just dealt with the cancellation of the New York City Marathon. Obviously, these are very different races, but do you think that any of this is based on people who maybe would have run that, but maybe wouldn't have run the turkey trot because they had just run that maybe now can do it because they're not as, you know,
could be.
They haven't just run a major race.
Could be. Remember, the New York City Marathon brings runners in from all over the world, and so I guess you would have to see how many,
people who are local or in
how
this
many
region.
People locally ran the New York City Marathon. I mean, they get 200,000 people wanting to run in it, and they only take 40,000. Mm-hmm. So I think it's more that you know, a 5K is a short distance.
Right.
I mean, if you're in relatively good shape from any other sport, you can get by in a 5K. Mm-hmm. So that lends itself to a whole lot of people. You know, marathon running is different. You have to train for 8 to 10 weeks to run a marathon.
Right.
And speaking about training,
I was just going to say, I knew where you were going.
We got Megan Farley, weekend anchor.
Yeah. She's been involved in
virtual training.
You know, you've probably seen the spots on the air. getting people, Megan hasn't run, a lot, but she got involved in this and is trying to get other people involved. And you guys are giving some tips to people to kind of be ready for
nutritional tips and injury prevention tips. They get them three times a week, and they have a schedule. We have professional trainers. It's all done virtually, but there's about 250 people signed up on Megan's team.
Mm-hmm. Now, is that something unique? I mean, I know that we've talked about for the Freihofer's run that Ann Hughes has been involved in actually going and
yes,
training with people.
That's right.
But the idea of sort of the virtual training is this something? Obviously, it's something different for you guys, but is this sort of unique for these types of races?
It is. We're probably one of the first races in the country that do it, but more and more races are starting to do it. I mean, some people like that motivation of having to be someplace, and they form friendships and camaraderies. So it kind of forces them to get out. There are other people who are self-motivated, and they can do the virtual training, and that's great. On Tuesday, we're going to have the nutritionist and the injury prevention specialist, Chris Cooley and Dr. Tim Maggs, along with the trainer, Patrick Linsky, all coming down to the media lab at the Troy Record in downtown Troy at 5:30. So I'm hoping Megan will be there, and we can all talk in person, answer any questions that people might have about running and about injury prevention and about nutrition. It's all good stuff.
I mean, Mike, you and Mayor Rosamilia are kind of new to the game. This is, you said, this is the first one you've been involved with in this capacity. What does it mean? I think we sort of talked a little bit. What does it mean to the city? But I mean, seeing what this can do or what this brings to the city, what do you think about that?
It's a chance for us to showcase what we have, and knowing that area, that downtown hub. One of the reasons we moved the race course back, moved the finish line back to Monument Square was because of that. Because we're highlighting the Victorian charm we have there, the architecture. The Riverfront Park right down there near the finish line is completely renovated. So you're bringing all these people in. There's such a focus on Troy that day that we need to get it right. And that's from a logistical standpoint. We want a professionally run race. We want a community event where, we talk about the virtual training. For the Turkey Trot, more than probably most road races, you need that because you have beginners. This is it's a competitive race. People take it very seriously, but there's something for everyone. You get the first timers who won't run another race all year. So with all the attention on Troy, we want to put our best foot forward in this capacity, make it the best race we can, get the community involved, and give a little bit back to the community at the same time.
All right. We are going to take a quick break. We're going to talk more. We're going to talk about that giving back to the community, and also probably what you're wondering, how much does it cost to get in the race? What do you have to do? So stay with us.